Hello everyone, this is part 7 of What If Naruto Learned of Hinata's Feelings, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Damn it. Why is everything so dang complicated? Naruto was standing at the city gates getting lectured by Jiraiya. He was no longer wearing his robes given to him by Tsunade, marking him as the future Hokage, but instead wore a white t-shirt under a blue jacket. His orange pants had been traded in for light brown ones. If Jiraiya had not been telling him off, he might have noticed that Naruto looked like a mirror image of his father, with fox whisker marks on his cheeks. Jiraiya, Hinata and Sakura are both coming with us. I don't care if that makes us a 5-man team. No one here has the strength that Sakura has, and there is no way I am going to leave Hinata here alone the day after I got married to be attacked by more Akatsuki. If you are so worried about the effectiveness of our team, maybe you should stay behind. Jiraiya sighed. There was no dealing with him like this. So much like his father, Jiraiya finally relented. Okay, fine. We are all going. And going now. Ready? Yeah, but I think I am team leader on this one, Jiraiya. Yeah, fine. He leaned over to Shizune. He thinks that just because he could beat everyone here to a pulp that it makes him a better leader. I heard that. Naruto started walking out the gate, Hinata holding his hand on one side and Sakura walking on his other. Jiraiya laughed and was about to say something about sticking to one woman, but Shizune saw it coming and smacked him in the head, causing him to fall on his face. She started after the friends, dragging the perverted Sennin along the ground by his leg. Naruto and his team had been walking for hours with Shizune reading to the Hokage in training from a diplomatic book, explaining the relationships with other lands and ways to change them. Hinata was just enjoying the time with Naruto's hand in hers. Suddenly a soft, furry something began brushing against her leg. It wasn't just a passing brush either. It was constantly brushing up and down her leg, going almost dangerously high. Hinata stifled a giggle. It was very ticklish, very ticklish. She looked at Naruto to see him facing backwards and nodding intently towards Shizune. Hinata was barely keeping her laughter in check, but then one of the tails brushing against her went slightly slower than it had been, slow and sliding. Another tail joined it, just barely tickling her under her shirt in the small of her back. She had given up wearing her trademark coat after, well actually it was just yesterday. Instead she was wearing just a pair of black shorts, a black shirt and a dark purple Jonin style vest. This newest feeling of the second tail caused Hinata to crack. Hinata was suddenly on her knees laughing hysterically. Sakura, Jiraiya, and Shizune just stared at the young woman that couldn't stop laughing. Sakura had never even seen Hinata laugh like this. The most I have even seen her do is a shy little giggle with her hand on her mouth. Naruto smiled. Well, I guess I will have to carry her. Naruto, stay back. It might be some new form of enemy jutsu. Sakura, I think I will take my chances. See, she was probably just laughing at when Shizune said that one thing about how shinobi need to never show emotion. Hinata giggled at him. Jiraiya knew what had probably been going on. But while he knew Naruto's secret, he wasn't going to tell Sakura and Shizune without his permission. Naruto, if you and your wife are done now, we should keep moving. Sakura walked up next to Hinata as Naruto fell back towards the still lecturing Shizune. Hinata, what was that all about? Oh, Naruto was rubbing my hand. Hinata blushed, not knowing what to say. Sakura just stared at her, not knowing what was so funny or even ticklish about that. Maybe it is one of those things Mama always says I'll understand when I fall in love. Sakura was suddenly lost in thought about Lee while Hinata sent a fake glare towards the back of Naruto's head. Hinata, how did you meet Naruto? I mean, I know you had a crush on him for years, but when did you actually meet him? I had never known him before the Ninja Academy, but I remember that you blushed at him on the first day. Naruto turned around and started wailing forward again. He also wanted to hear her story. Well, I met Naruto a few days before my 5th birthday. I was playing on the playground by myself. Some kids walked up to the swing I was on and pushed me off. I remember that I started to cry a little, But before I had time to run away, the leader of the bullies was on the ground with a nose. I stopped crying and looked up at my savior. That was the first time I saw Naruto. He just smiled at me and said, "Hi, my name is Naruto Uzumaki and I am going to be Hokage one day. Don't be sad, you're too pretty to be sad." Instantly, I felt better. Naruto was soon chased off by the bullies and I left to go home. In the few days later I met Naruto and we swung on the swings together. I never even spoke to him, I was too shy. After I was almost kidnapped. I was forced to stay inside the clan's complex. I never forgot Naruto, though. Besides my mother, Naruto was the only person to ever call me pretty or care about whether or not I cried. Naruto remembered those times on the swings. He remembered running back to the third Hokage on that day that he had started swinging with her and yelling at the top of his lungs that he had found a friend. The third had merely smiled. Naruto had been crushed when he had arrived some days later and, for the first time, his nameless friend who would always sit and listen to him go on about his plans and dreams had disappeared. But Naruto had lost that memory along with many others over the years, painful memories that he never cared to remember. He hadn't even recognized Hinata when she and him were in the same academy class. Man, I didn't know that she was my first friend and also, now, my lifelong friend. Naruto smiled at the thought. It was strange how things like that happened. Hinata, Sakura, do you want to hear my favorite memory of Hinata? Sakura said sure, though Hinata was sure she would blush at whatever he said. It was that mission we went on to go find the scent bug to find Sasuke. I remember many things that happened on that trip. There was when Hinata used her own technique that she had designed herself to defeat the bug uses. There was when she actually found the bug. There was at the end, when Hinata didn't get mad at me for ruining the mission. But my favorite memory I have of Hinata is when we were on our way there. We had pitched camp early, and I was out. I woke in the middle of the night to go pee. When I was out there, though, I saw something I did not expect. Hinata's clothes. Hinata let out a squeak of embarrassment at realizing exactly what memory he was referring to. I had no idea what was going on, but suddenly a figure appeared on the stream nearby, right next to a waterfall. The light was horrible, so I couldn't see anything, but I knew it had to be Hinata. The figure danced on the stream, and as she did, the water flowed up and around her to the motion of her hands. In the end, the figure was inside of a sphere of water droplets that shined like diamonds. It was probably the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. Completely without thinking, I started walking out to tell her how beautiful her dance had been, forgetting the fact that I had seen her clothes back on a rock. I slipped and fell into the water, and when I got up, the figure was gone. I arrived back at camp to find Hinata already asleep, or so I thought. The next day I tried to compliment her without giving it away to her teammates. Really, Naruto, I didn't even know you knew it was me. Well, I didn't exactly think it would be polite. You were already blushing so much though that you would pass out if I mentioned to you how beautiful you looked as you danced on the water. Well, I know if anyone told me that in front of other people that I would have passed out. Sakura was laughing inwardly at the idea of shy Hinata having a heart attack while Shino and Kiba stared at her. WOWOWOWOWOWOW. I am going to totally use this in my next novel. Jiraiya had his notepad out and had been vigorously taking notes throughout the entire story. Naruto spun around and snapped his fingers. Instantly Jiraiya's notebook burst into flames. No, you won't. I doubt Hinata would find it flattering to be found in one of your books. Jiraiya picked up the ashes of his book with tears in his eyes. Naruto, why did you have to do that? Jiraiya began to sob and Sakura was forced to drag him with them by the collar of his shirt. You know, I can't believe how stupid I was over my life. I mean, look at all the stuff I missed. I had a person who loved me right next to me, and I ignored her. I had potential friends all over the city, and I just tried to prove how much better I was than them. I could have trained with Lee instead of playing pranks and have already reached my level of expertise years ago. Above all, why on earth didn't I see that you liked me? I mean, even if I never even knew you from the academy, when we took the Chunin exams I should have seen it. The way you fought, the way you were willing to let me cheat. I never even knew you liked me as a friend until I visited you after your fight with Neji. Yeah, And you wondered why we all called you an idiot. Hey, you aren't supposed to agree with me. Wait, Naruto, you visited me. Well, yeah, I thought it was partially my fault that you got hurt as bad as you did. Naruto frowned, remembering that time. What if I had lost her then? I wouldn't be married right now, that is for sure. I wouldn't even have a girlfriend. I might even have given up. Kurenai wouldn't have set me straight and I would have blamed myself for her death. I don't know what I would have done. Naruto, how did you find out when you visited me? I don't think you want to know. Please, Naruto. I want to know how you found out. Kurenai wouldn't ever talk about that time. You were dying. Everyone in the group stopped walking and turned to face Naruto. What? You were going to S that night, the doctors said. I had been there since after Gaara fought Lee, and when the doctors let me in to see you they told me they had given up. I blamed myself. I didn't want you to S, you were just the kind girl who was shy, but you had stood up to Neji, so that made you strong too. So the QB offered to bring you back. He poured his own chakra into you, forcing the Tenketsu open where the doctors hadn't been able to, like what he did with me in my fight with Neji. He also healed you a lot, which is why you were even able to move a few weeks later. I passed out. When I woke up, you were in stable condition and Kurenai was blocking me from seeing you. She told me that you admired me, and that you liked me. Naruto, you saved me. No, you saved me. Naruto smiled and pulled her closer. Even when everyone else thought I was just some loser, too weak, the last in the class, you believed in me. Like right before the fight with Neji. And then you gave me a gift that I had never received before. Love. Naruto, he her. This time Jiraiya was writing on his forearm everything that happened. He snickered to himself until he watched the ink on his arm slowly disappear. What? Jiraiya, no taking notes on us. HMPH, fine. I have enough notes already to make my next book. It is about this girl named Akuras and a young man named after an eel. Jiraiya was suddenly frightened as K intent hit him, enough to make even a Senin stop in his tracks. Sakura turned around with an evil look on her face as she cracked her knuckles. Jiraiya, I think that maybe you should change the names of the people in your story if you ever hope of doing undercover research again. What? Did I say Akuras and eel? I meant to say Noi and Yacho. I will just move it back one more in the series. Good. Sakura began walking again and everyone followed, a little startled by Sakura's crazy personality. Jiraiya was growing more and more uneasy. They had been walking almost all day and were about halfway to Sound, but on the way there had been no one. Not one person had passed by them going either way. No citizens, no shinobi, no one. If I was going to ambush us, it would be around that next bend coming up. There was a sharp twist in the path. It needed to go in between two huge rocks, each over 20 meters tall. It would be the perfect place for an ambush, no place to maneuver. Long range and jutsu specialists would be able to K them in one shot. Jiraiya prepared himself subtly. Naruto had already been ready for it. He had sensed two presences following him a few hours back. They had gone around the team and were now somewhere up ahead. Naruto assumed that they were near those two giant rocks. Nothing is easy anymore. Naruto had been secretly molesting as he listened to Shizune. He had been trying to create a Rasengan on one of his tails. It was difficult, as he was still not used to how the chakra flowed through the tails. It wasn't as focused. It was almost like the tails had chakra lines that were twice the thickness as regular chakra coils. He had managed to produce a rather large, yet unstable, Rasengan, but it was not easy. I guess that I will have plenty of time to practice against the two people I felt before. They felt like water users, maybe Mist Ninja. I can't let myself get trapped like last time, even if the guy said it was a one of a kind jutsu. They seemed really strong, but maybe not. Shizune had kept ready most of the entire day, only to stop when Naruto wasn't paying attention. She felt the tension rolling off of Jiraiya and knew that the rocks up ahead would pose the perfect place for an ambush. Sakura was lost in her own thoughts while Hinata leaned against Naruto and watched the road ahead blissfully. Naruto suddenly stopped. Something wasn't right. He could feel the ninjas up ahead, just beyond the crack in the rocks now only 100 meters away. But there was something not right, something in his instincts, human and fox, told him that all was not as it seemed. They are weaker, traps. Everyone, I am going to go ahead for a second, follow me a minute. Naruto K his wife before disappearing. He had gone into the forest beyond the two rocks. Where are they? Oh, no. Two very poorly made clones stood next to the crack, not poorly made in shape but the amount of chakra put in. They were merely decoys. No, Hinata. Naruto jumped up onto the top of the rocks to look for his friends, instead he saw exactly what he had feared. The area he had just come from was now filled with mist. Damn it. Hold on, guys. Naruto jumped down into the mist. Hinata was in her taijutsu stance with her back to the rest of her group. They stood in a circle, each protecting the backs of the others. The mist surrounding them had arrived the instant that Naruto had disappeared. Naruto, hurry back. Byakugan. Hinata stared into the mist with her all-seeing eyes. What she saw was disturbing to her very core. Nothing. What? The mist around her couldn't be penetrated by her Byakugan, she could see less than she could see with her regular vision. The veins became even more pronounced as she pushed her abilities to the limits, not being able to pierce even 3 feet into the mist to see her comrades. It is almost like the mist isn't made of water. No, wait. It isn't. Everyone, the mist isn't water. It's chakra. I can't see through it. They all instantly went on guard even more than before, waiting for something to happen. That was very observant of you, girl. Yes, it was. Too bad what you know can't help you anyway. The two voices came out of the mist, but it seemed as if they were everywhere at once. Hinata couldn't pick up their location at all. She performed a few hand signs. Water style, freezing touch. Hinata whispered to herself the name, hoping she would be able to keep her now partially glowing hands a secret until it was too late for her attackers. Hinata, try using a chitin. Jiraiya was as serious as any of them had ever seen him. He had sensed the chakra of the two attacks at the moment they used the jutsu. This is not good, they feel like they're at Itachi Uchiha's level. And if that is true, the Akatsuki probably warned them about Naruto. They won't underestimate him. Unlike that fool, this is not going to be easy, especially with Naruto not here. Hinata began to spin and release her chakra out of every tenketsu on her body. Chitin. The spinning ninja created a sphere of clear air, only to watch as it filled in as she slowed the spinning. Alright, who are you and why do you want to do so much? Jiraiya needed to stall, the chakra signatures of the two ninjas were growing, coming close to his own. Oh, our names. Names don't mean much, do they, brother? No, brother, they don't. I don't even think I remember my name. Do you, brother? Ha ha ha. No, I don't know mine either. I know my sword's, though. Yes, I do too. My sword's name is very important. Do you wish to know our swords' names, pathetic fat man? Jiraiya's eye twitched at the insult, but knew that aggravating them would be a disaster. Besides, only a few swords had actually been named. This could provide very important information. My sword's name is Amanonuhoko. And mine is the Shamshir-e. Two of the legendary sword masters of the Mist Village. This couldn't get much worse. Your friend won't be arriving anytime soon. We know how to deal with demons. He was caught in a trap and he doesn't even know it. He won't even realize time passed. It just got worse. Jiraiya prepared to use a jutsu by biting his thumb. Well, it is too bad we can't stay and chat, but we have a previous engagement. Summoning jutsu. Jiraiya s his hand against the ground, expecting to greet Gamabunta, or at least a war toad. What happened was, nothing. Jiraiya went wide-eyed as his companions turned to stare at what he had summoned, only to be met with empty air. It is very funny to watch, brother. Indeed, brother. They haven't figured it out. It is really elementary. Hinata was the first to understand. We can't use any jutsu. The chakra-laced mist is causing our jutsus to fail. As soon as we unleash our chakra, it loses focus and it will fail. Whoa, and I was about to try a Rasengan. Hinata tried to use her Juken. It looks like I can control my chakra as long as I contain it in my body. As soon as it hits the air, though, it becomes almost impossible to control. It looks like it is just going to be a battle of weapons and taijutsu. Do you think they are despairing yet, brother? No, brother, I think that they still have some hope. Maybe if they saw one of their friends they would lose hope. I agree, that little girl who figured out our jutsu would be a worthy one to K. It is true, Her bi contains a Kekkei Genkai and she is the first to understand the nature of our jutsu. She would be a worthy one to K. Do you want the pleasure? No, brother, after you. Thank you, brother. Hinata held her ground, ready to dodge anything. Come on, Naruto. Suddenly a long katana appeared out of the mist as it came towards her. She bent backwards, barely dodging the blade that would have pierced her heart. As she did, she saw the blade pass over her and continue on. That is one long sword. He must be close. Hinata blindly fell to her back before kicking with both feet at where she assumed her attacker was. She rolled out of the way, managing to only nick her shoulder, but Hinata jumped to her feet and grabbed the blade, freezing it. The blade immediately disappeared, shooting back into the mist. Hinata, those two blades they wield are not normal blades. The Shamshiri can extend to 5 times its original length, and the Amanono Hoko is a naginator that was known to be able to create earth. Shizune had her needles ready to fire in the direction of the next attack. Jiraiya had a large kunai in preparation to attack, as did Sakura. Hinata stood with her hands glowing. Brother, the little girl froze my Shamshiri. Well, brother, maybe we should both attack her, then. I agree, brother. A long, wide blade came sweeping in from Hinata's side. She knew that it was a setup. It is the perfect height, so I would want to jump it, because ducking would be hard. Hinata threw herself to the ground before rolling towards the wielder of the naginator. A katana blade passed over her head before changing directions and almost. Hinata rose from the ground and touched the pole of the naginator, freezing it. Then she threw her other hand in a strike, intending to the pole into fragments. The pole came up to her face, throwing her through the mist away from her friends. A blade came flying out of the mist in front of her, catching up to Hinata as she flew backwards. She saw it just in time and caught the blade between her feet, freezing it again. She used the blade as leverage and shoved it into the ground. She ran back up the blade, intending to K its master. But before she was even halfway up the blade retracted under her feet. Hinata's hand was now broken, making it impossible for her to do any more jutsu. And, worse, her friends were nowhere to be seen. Damn it. Brother told me to K you while he takes care of the others. You are indeed an experienced ninja, too strong to merely be a chunin as my information tells me. I will enjoy Ku, a worthy trophy, unlike the demon. You aren't even half the ninja he is. And yet he falls into my trap the same way you have. Hinata grit her teeth at his insult. But I don't blame you, little girl, for sticking up for him. It is too bad that he is not here to save you. I am perfectly capable of saving myself. Then why don't you prove it? Quote. As she came out of her roll, she ran at full speed to where the one holding the katana should be. The blade behind he kept shirking at an amazing rate and swinging down, nearly see her, but her speed kept it barely off of her. She saw a figure in the mist. I have you. Hinata used her remaining hand to freeze the katana's handle to its master and then freeze both of his knees. She then kicked one of the knees, expecting it to break the leg. It shattered. A water clone. Hinata jumped instinctively out of the way as a separate katana came sweeping at her legs. Another blade towards her, and another, and another. Soon the air was filled with swords coming out of every section of the mist. It was all Hinata could do to dodge them. Kaiten. Hinata spun in a circle, every blade that came in close was bent backwards and disintegrated into water droplets. Soon the air was clear again. Hinata stopped spinning, breathing hard from the exertion of pouring her chakra out of every tenketsu in her body. Ha 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 ha, indeed you are strong. Stronger than even I could have guessed. No one has ever lived against me as long as you have. I should keep your head as a remembrance of your bravery and skill. Who says you are going to even get my head? It isn't your decision. You don't stand a chance. Not when I can see you perfectly and you can't even tell where I am. All I need to do is hold out until Naruto comes back. I wouldn't hold your breath if I were you. The trap he is in was based off of the jutsu used to contain the shukaku from Suna in a teapot for years. I think it can hold this Naruto of yours for long enough time for me to KU. Hinata frowned. How long will it take for Naruto to escape? Suddenly she felt something brush against her leg. She smiled. Too bad, your trap can't contain Naruto for even 10 minutes. Really? Then why isn't he here? Suddenly a grunt was heard by Hinata. The mist began to thin. She saw two figures in the mist and they slowly became more clear. One was her attacker, a tall man in nothing but a pair of black pants and black wrapping around his mouth. His sword, a katana with its hilt covered in emeralds, was held in the air unmoving by what appeared to be nothing. The other figure, as Hinata knew, was Naruto. Hey, Hina, do you think this guy knows who he is up against? Watch out, Naruto. Behind them stood the other three members of their team, each facing the other blade master of the mist. That blade was specially designed to wound demons. Naruto's eyes went wide as the katana master smirked. Hinata saw with her Byakugan the chakra he suddenly ran into the sword. Naruto fell to his knees, sweating, but his tail, still pierced by the sword, didn't move. Naruto. Hinata ran towards the mist ninja, ready to freeze his arms off, when the man swung his sword around, throwing Naruto off of the blade and into the charging Hinata. Naruto's genjutsu broke. Well, brother, it looks like the kid really is a demon. Not just a container like they told us. Sakura and Shizune gasped at Naruto's appearance. Naruto's whisker marks became slightly more pronounced as he stood up. Damn straight. You think you can beat me? It is not so much if we think that we can beat you, it is more if we think we can take you alive and receive the extra cash for you. Naruto bared his sharp teeth. No one hurts my friends and gets away with it. Naruto took his tails and poured chakra into them, each becoming as hard and as sharp as a sword, though as flexible and long as a whip. Leave now, before I actually start to fight. The two ninjas just smirked. The one standing in front of Jiraiya and the others put his Naginata above his head. He it blade first into the ground. Suddenly Naruto was thrown into the air by a pillar of rock. Jiraiya was ready for the break. Needle Guardian Spiral. Jiraiya's hair surrounded his body completely as he jumped into the hair towards the ninja with the Naginata. The ninja instantly removed the blade from the ground and used it to block the spinning Sennin. Jiraiya stopped the spiral and grabbed the Naginata with his own hands and swung his now long and sharp hair around it. The attack perforated the shoulder of the swordsman. Naruto blocked the follow-up attacks by the extended katana with his tails, leaving two unused. It worked the first time I worked on the Rasengan, it should work this time. If I don't have enough control with one hand I can just use two. The two free tails began spiraling around another, using the chakra to build up a large ball of chakra the size of Naruto's upper body. The energy, this time, was contained by the two extra tails constantly pouring their own chakra into the stabilization of the newly created Rasengan. Naruto finally fell to the earth and used his immense speed to appear in front of the startled ninja. Fox Rasengan. The tail sped to where the ninja had been instants ago, but the S-rank ninja managed to barely miss taking a direct hit. The Rasengan hit the ground under the jumping ninja, exploding in a whirlwind of energy. All of the combatants were thrown to the ground. Amazingly, all 5 of the Konoha ninjas were closest to the large rocks, while the 2 mist ninjas had been thrown back towards where they had come from. Go! Naruto shouted at his friends. I can take care of these two. Just keep going. Hinata grabbed his shoulder. No, we can help you. Hinata, I know you can. But if I make a mistake and one of you gets hurt by me because of my lack of training in this body, then I would never forgive myself. Please, run. Naruto charged off towards the 2 ninjas, now standing, as Hinata stood behind. Jiraiya grabbed her by the waist and threw her over his shoulder as he ran towards the rock. No, Master Jiraiya, he might need us. Hinata, trust Naruto's judgment. If he thinks we could get hurt by one of his jutsus, then we should at least get behind these rocks. You mean? No, we aren't going to leave him here. We just need to take some cover before he lets loose. Hinata stopped her weeping and looked back at the 3 figures fighting in the distance. Good luck, Naruto. So, you escaped. Escaped what? Brother, he doesn't even know he was trapped. That is very funny, brother. Whatever, you two are going down. How do you plan on doing that, demon? My katana could paralyze you in L. And my Naginata could trap you in the earth like the fox you are. Oh, I plan on doing it this way. Naruto did a few hand signs, keeping his tails behind his back. He kept doing hand signs. And he kept doing hand signs. Brother, I think he is bluffing. There is no jutsu with that many hand signs. Indeed, I think he is just stalling for those other ninja. Do you think of them as friends, demon? No one is friends with a demon. Naruto's eyes opened from his concentration. They aren't just my friends. They are the people I have sworn to protect. Slowly Naruto's tails came out from behind his back. The topmost one was straight up, unmoving as the rest moved around it at speeds unseen. The one tail above Naruto's head held a fiery ball of chakra. The two swordsmen stared at the ball, easily the size of both of them put together. Naruto smiled. And I will protect them. You might think that you are unbeatable, but anyone who messes with my wife and comrades can consider themselves S. The two ninja prepared for the final thrust of the ball of death, ready to jump either way. There is no dodging this attack. Fire and wind style, hell. The ball of energy on top of his tail began to expand, and as it did the fire inside became more and more unstable. The last memory either ninja had was of the ball's walls collapsing in on themselves and unleashing AL and heat neither could have imagined. Sunad sat at her desk drinking sake and trying to understand the paper in front of her when the sunset outside suddenly became the lesser of two lights brightening up the sky. Out, many miles away as far as she could tell, an explosion the size of Konoha burst from the forest. Jiraiya, Shizune, Sakura and Hinata all crouched down into the hole Jiraiya had made with an earth jutsu, knowing that the only reason they weren't S was because the large rock above them was thick and the hole behind them was filled in. Hinata reached up to touch the massive rock above their heads and instantly regretted it. It was as hot as if it had been lying in a fire for days. Shizune had already started to heal her broken hand and sighed as Naruto's wife burned her other one. Hinata, isn't it enough to wound one of your hands? Hinata ignored the medic as she stared up to where she assumed Naruto was. I hope he is okay. Don't worry. I saw him use this move once before and he wasn't hurt. It wasn't this powerful though, this was beyond anything I have ever heard of. Yeah, if anyone can take care of himself, it is Naruto. Sakura and Shizune had gotten over the shock of seeing Naruto's true form, but were still waiting for an explanation. You're right. Hinata focused some chakra into her hands, trying to aid the healing process. Naruto can do anything he puts his mind to. Naruto stood in what had once been the middle of a road. Now the surrounding miles of land were a scorched wasteland. Not one tree had escaped the inferno, the closest to the epicenter had been completely incinerated, leaving no trace. The two rocks at Naruto's back had decreased in size, as the outer area had been turned into molten rock, filling the crack in between the two. The ground was black in some areas, molten in others, burned to the point of turning the clay into rock and the tiny particles of sand into glass. Naruto collapsed to his knees, completely fine and free from burns, but afraid. What the hell did I do? The first time I did that I at least left partial trees and it was only a few kilometers. This time, how do I control this power? It is almost like my best attacks will kill everyone in the area. I don't even know if my friends made it out of the blast area before. Oh no, Hinata. I can't smell Hinata. I can't smell anything in this burned area. Naruto jumped over the rocks, not daring to touch the recently cooled molten rock. As he landed he saw that the devastation on this side of the rocks was not nearly as bad, but he still couldn't see the end of it. Be alive, be alive, be alive. Naruto used all of his speed in running off on the path his friends were supposed to take. Jiraiya sat in the hole, deciding on whether or not it was safe to come out or not. The rest of the group had begun to rest, Jiraiya staying awake to let in air when it was necessary. Damn it, Naruto. Be alive. Naruto was running from the memories of his fight. The power, the explosion, the spread of the damage, no. I didn't do it, it wasn't them, it couldn't have been. No. Just run. Naruto had cleared the large rocks, now half destroyed by his attack and as running in the last direction he had seen his wife and friends go. Naruto was afraid, truly, for the first time since becoming the Kyuubi. He was running so fast the burned remains of trees just became a black blur on either side of the now partially destroyed path. It was only a mile away from where he had unleashed the attack when he saw exactly what he had feared. Exactly what he had never wanted to see. Exactly what could drive him to the brink of insanity. In front of him were the remains of 4B. Naruto looked at them for minutes, staring blankly at what he had to assume were his friends, his wife, his life. Why was Naruto running? He couldn't think of anything, his mind was numb. He sprinted with all speed in his possession. The faster he ran the less time he had to think. Constantly dodging trees and branches, now out of the range of his attack, made it impossible for him to have time to think. Tears unconsciously streamed from his face as he ran miles in mere seconds. Hinata, bam. Naruto ran straight through a tree. Hinata fighting Neji, bam. Hinata smiling, bam. Hinata blushing after AK, bam. Hinata in a wedding dress, bam. Hinata's blackened sea, Naruto s through one more tree before jumping into the treetops. Then he saw it. A town. The village of sound. Naruto hadn't bothered to reapply his genjutsu, and now he was crouched on the top of a tree viewing his original destination. He dropped to the ground and weakly leaned against a tree. Them. Her. I don't have reason to live, she is gone and I did it, damn it, damn it. Damn it, damn it. Hinata, I couldn't even protect you from myself. Some proud failure. I am. Naruto was weeping now, clinging to the tree as if it were Hinata. The last time he had cried like this was when he had learned about the demon fox. He slid to the ground, unconsciously swinging one tail and destroying 3 trees in the process. He pulled a kunai from his belt, posing over his heart. Why do I live? What is there left for me? Nothing left in this world with her gone. Suddenly Naruto plunged the kunai into his shoulder, not his heart. I could K them. I could finish the mission, just make it more personal. Yes, I will K them. That's what I can do. I K those responsible for attacking me and causing me to K her. I swear to K them all. Naruto's eyes slowly went from blue to red. They don't deserve to live, these inhabitants of sound. They have harbored Akatsuki and Orochimaru. Tonight, they will all s. I only hope that they have loved ones outside of the village that will know my L. Naruto stood up, tears still pouring from his now red eyes that had not been on his face since the Kyuubi's deaths. Jiraiya was surprised to find the entrance to their hold now covered by rock. It had been 4 hours since they had heard anything from outside. The huge boulder above their head had cooled so it was safe to touch. Jiraiya had decided that he would go up ahead and make sure that there wasn't any more blazing attacks flying around. He used a simple earth jutsu and the rock turned to mud, clearing the way to the surface. When he came out, he wasn't surprised at the surrounding area. No, to say Jiraiya was surprised would not be telling the entire truth. Jiraiya was frozen in a state of complete and total panic. What has he done? Jiraiya hopped to the top of the rocks, realizing now that the rock blocking his path had just hours before been molten, and viewed the complete devastation of the miles around. There wasn't even a tree within a mile of what could only be called the ground zero of Naruto's attack. There was a definite center where Naruto had been fighting the 2 swordsmen. It was evident in the way the ash had settled like ripples around this point. It was evident in the many meters deep crater of what Jiraiya assumed used to be ground, but was now probably gas from the heat. What Jiraiya saw made his stomach turn over. There was nothing. Nothing as far as the eye could see. No Naruto, no enemy, no organic material not completely burned to a cinder. Jiraiya didn't know what to think. Is Naruto even alive? I doubt we could find any trace of his body if he isn't. I don't see how even absorbing the Kyuubi's chakra could protect someone from this. Jiraiya knew that the worst case scenario was probably true in this case. He summoned a toad, which, as fate would have it, was Gamakichi. I need you to take a message to the Hokage. Great. Have you seen Naruto around lately? He hasn't summoned me to play in a while. No, he hasn't. And I don't think he will again. Tell the Hokage that Naruto is MIA and presumed S. What? You can't be serious, Master Jiraiya. Naruto can't s. Look around you, god damn it. Naruto was in the middle of this. I still don't believe it. But I will deliver the message. Naruto can't s. How do you know? He hasn't yet, has he? The little frog disappeared in a puff of smoke, leaving Jiraiya alone in the barren wasteland. Or, at least that was what he would have wanted. Jiraiya turned around to make sure the others didn't see this and stayed in the dugout, only to find them all staring at him. Hinata was looking at him in horror with her hand over her heart. OS. She heard me. Listen, Hinata, he didn't even need to go any farther, as Hinata collapsed into Shizun's arms unconscious. Jiraiya, is what you said true? Sakura looked like she was about to follow Hinata in fainting. Jiraiya nodded. Sakura collapsed to her knees. No, that's not true, Sakura was about to begin crying when they all felt something that could only be described as pure anger incarnate. A intent large enough to wake Hinata passed over them, but they all realized that it wasn't directed at them. It didn't even seem to be close. What the hell was that? Jiraiya felt a chakra signature unlike any he had ever felt before. It had to be 100 miles away, but it was strong enough to affect them. It was Naruto. Hinata jumped up and shrugged off Shizun's help. No one's that strong except Naruto. But, if that was Naruto, it seemed almost insane with anger. Maybe he thinks we yes. Shizun was hesitant to offer that explanation. Hinata began to pour chakra into her legs. Then we need to find him and prove we live. Hinata was off, faster than any of them had ever seen her run. Jiraiya sighed. Follow her, we have no hope of finishing the mission without her and Naruto. They were off again. Naruto was finished. The town was finished. There is nothing left inside of it but death. Naruto, despite losing himself to the battle, had managed to uncover some information. Before Kabuto, the new leader of Sound, he had told Naruto which way Kisame always came from and that he had been here recently. It was time to hunt. Tsunade sat at her desk, staring in the direction she had seen the explosion in. Many people in the village had come to demand to know what was going on, especially after a intent had come over the city, many recognizing it to be similar to the Kyuubi's 19-odd years ago. No one knew. Not even her. Suddenly, a little frog appeared on her desk in a puff of smoke. Yo, old lady, I am supposed to bring you a message from Jiraiya. Tsunade's eye twitched, but she refrained from sending the summon to meet his maker. What? He told me to tell you that Naruto has gone missing in action, and should be presumed to be S. But I don't really think that that is the case. You mean that explosion? I don't know, I didn't see it. I did see the miles and miles of nothing but scorched earth. But Naruto can survive anything. Tsunade sat back in her chair, still looking in the direction of the explosion. No, Naruto isn't S. No one is capable of producing that much chakra or intent. It made Orochimaru look like a kind grandpa. But why is he angry? Tsunade had many ideas on why he would put off that much chakra. Jiraiya suddenly pieced it all together when he saw the coincidence. 4SB lay in the road, burned beyond description. If Naruto had seen this, he probably would assume the worst. After all, this is about where we would have been if I hadn't stopped to hide. Damn. It all makes sense. Hinata crouched next to the SB. She hadn't been the same Hinata since she had woken up. She wasn't smiling, she wasn't blushing, she wouldn't even speak. All Hinata did was run after Naruto. Now we know why Naruto left. And that intent. Let's go. Hinata was off again. Her companions followed, though they knew she was under stress. Hinata, don't worry. We will find him. Yeah, if he could survive that explosion, then he can survive anything. Hinata's mind was anything except a mirror of her outer self. Her face was completely emotionless while her insides were churning in agony. Naruto, please wait. It was all Hinata could do to not break into tears on the spot, but she knew that would slow her down. She had only one goal now. To catch up to Naruto, to ease the ill she had felt in his presence before. Sir, the Kyuubi container is attempting to reach the base. What? We just received a report that the vessel just destroyed Sound. Who reported this? Sir, Kisame reported it, but we lost contact with him immediately afterwards. Recall all members. Sir, I want every member here for when he comes, we must be ready to perform the ceremony. Yes, sir. Naruto dropped the now body of Kisame and crushed his sword in his other hand. He had a scent, and it wasn't Kisame's. This smell reeked of death and evil, and Naruto knew instinctively that it was of their leader. He knew where to go now. Funny, how Elite Ninja didn't guard their scent. They never thought someone would come after them. Well, that's their mistake. Naruto was off again, this time slower. On the trail left by Kisame, he needed to slow to a human pace to make sure that he wouldn't lose it. With his enhanced senses, it was simple to follow his trail. It must be close. His claws dug into the earth as he followed the trail, not knowing that his own path was being followed. What happened here? Sakura could barely speak as she looked over the remains of Sound. Jiraiya was speechless, as was Shizun. Hinata had removed her impassive face, it was replaced by horror. In front of them lay the burned out husks of buildings, most to the ground. The village was a graveyard uncovered. Countless littered the streets. Sakura vomited more than once. Even being an expert med ninja had not prepared her for this. Hinata would have, but it appeared as if only her legs were working, not her mind. The most gruesome part was the mountain of heads in the middle of the town. It looked like not one of the residents had kept their head on their neck, based upon the small mountain before them. No women, no children, no citizen or shinobi had been spared. Each head bore a look of terror in their unseeing eyes. Jiraiya frowned at the he couldn't form words to explain what this was. Naruto must really have gone insane. The Naruto I knew would have never these people like this. Something must have snapped. Hinata had not removed a look of sheer terror from her face since entering the village. He could have been hours, with the only words her friends deciphered from her mumbling beneath her tears. Sakura managed to carry her out of the city in the direction Naruto had gone. It was easy to find, with all of the trees he destroyed. Shizune almost threw up at the sight of the only body to still have a head attached to it. She soon left to leave the city, followed by a still silent Jiraiya. Earth style, swamp of the underworld. LW he was done. The only thing that would have given away the fact that a city had once stood was the vast open area. Jiraiya stood up to his full height and faced away from his companions. I don't think that we will find Naruto is his right mind, if we find him at all. That is something that he would never had done, ever. He doesn't care for fun or thrill. He is care from revenge. Right, Shizune. And I fear what he will do if he comes back to his right mind and finds that his revenge was not needed. Hinata was slumped on the ground, barely managing to stay up straight leaning on Sakura's leg. 1 week earlier. Naruto, why is it then whenever I get to be alone with you, I just end up loving your tales more? Nothing. Hinata Hyuga leaned against her betrothed as they lay under a tree in the solitude of the forest. She leaned her head against his shoulder as his tales wrapped her in their warmth. Hinata, why do you love me so much? Your tales? Hinata giggled with her eyes closed. Of course it could be that you are one of the nicest, bravest, handsomest, strongest, inspiring ninja alive. But I am putting my money on, furry. I love you too. Hinata blushed. She loved it when she heard that. It was like her dream come true, over and over again. Hinata, when we get married, are you going to still be a ninja? I mean, as Hokage I won't exactly be short on money, I was just wondering if you wanted. Naruto, I would love to start a family. Really? Yes, as soon as we get married we can begin work on the Uzumaki clan. If there was anything I ever wanted in life, it was the chance to be a mother. Well, there are plenty of other guys who would have been happy to aid you in that goal. Naruto, you didn't let me finish. I always wanted to be the mother of your children. I know what you meant. Naruto gently tickled her with one of his tails. I was just kidding with you. HMPH, well maybe you could be less serious next time you're just kidding. Hinata, you're cute when you're mad. I am not mad. Hinata snuggled closer to him and into his soft, furry tails. I just wanted to make sure you understood just who is on top in this relationship. You can be on top of me any day, Hinata. Oh, you. I would leave you for that comment if your tails weren't so soft and fuzzy. Just kidding. He could have been ours. Naruto, don't leave me now. Hinata, are you going to be okay? Sakura looked down at her friend. She shouldn't have had to do this. Married only a day before, she should be on a honeymoon, not on a chase to find her possibly mentally deranged husband who thinks she is Hinata managed to pull herself up off of the ground with help from Sakura. We need to find him, or else more people will be hurt. I know that if Naruto I would probably do the same that he is doing. Hinata looked up with new courage. But we aren't and this doesn't have to end like this. Let's go before we lose him. Hinata was off again, seemingly with renewed strength from the small rest. Her friends were right on her heels. They soon came across the body of another Akatsuki, except this one was the real deal. They all recognized Kisame from either personal experience or the recent bingo book. What was left of him was enough to find out who he was. The large, snapped, sword covered in black scales was also a key clue. If it hadn't have been for the fact that his head had been completely burned so it was merely a skull, so they could see the sharp teeth, it would have been harder. They saw the path of destruction that led through the forest from their place on a hill overlooking the entire valley that Sound had once existed in. It was no longer traveling in a straight line. It had turned. Naruto was headed toward Konoha. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.